I think Eddie is either unaware himself and genuinely just poorly educated, or he's a compulsive liar and says a bunch of nonsense online because it's going to get him views and it's built him a huge following. Feels like bloody ages since I was last sat in front of the camera talking to you about things, but it's the end of the month, which means something very important is happening, which is our monthly roundup of all of the silly and potentially not silly stuff I've seen on TikTok. So what we're going to do is go through a bunch of TikToks I've seen this month, or have had sent to me this month, where I'm going to talk about what's good, what's maybe not so good, debunk some misinformation, and also hopefully provide some value to you that you might tolerate. And as always, the deal is, if at any point throughout this entire video you actually just like something I've said or agree with something I've said, I would appreciate it if you did subscribe to the channel. But if you don't like or don't agree with anything I've said, then just dislike the video. That's fair deal.
I've been fasting last time I ate was Sunday night. I'm not going to eat again until Thursday evening. I feel amazing. I'm doing 96 hours. If I said I've been hungry once, I felt tired, I'd be lying.
There's a really funny point there where he says, if I said I'd be hungry once, I'd be lying. Likely it is, what he's saying here during this video is actually also a lie. The thing with Eddie, he's very popular online, I get it, people like his kind of no BS approach, which is cool, I respect it, whatever, but 99% of the stuff he promotes is just utter nonsense. Sure, I appreciate his kind of drive towards Whole Foods, I respect that, that's not a bad thing, but 96-hour fast and whatever, please don't do this. If you're trying to actually get fitter, get healthier, fasting for 96 hours is probably not a good thing, considering our tissue needs calories to survive, and that tissue also includes organs. Yes, your organs do need calories to survive, not just your muscle and your fat, but your organs too. I think Eddie is either unaware himself and genuinely just poorly educated, or he's a compulsive liar and says a bunch of nonsense online because it's going to get him views and it's built him a huge following. And then people jump up saying, I fasted for 96 hours, I lost loads of weight, it's incredible. Because you starved yourself. Of course you're going to lose weight. If I say don't eat food, guess what's going to happen? You're going to lose weight. Or just enter a calorie deficit in a more sustainable way. That's probably going to help too. I'm actually going to pause for a moment and talk about the fact that this video is actually sponsored once again by Magic Mind, a company I've worked with many times before, and I've done that because I actually like them and they do good things. And they send me free drinks that I was going to buy anyway, so they save me money. It's fantastic as a dream. One of the big things I always talk about throughout this channel is things like mental health. And one thing that's commonly neglected when it comes to mental health is actually going to be things like micronutrients and physical health. When you are adopting a healthier, maybe more balanced diet, where you are consuming a lot of things like micronutrients and minerals that are commonly neglected, you're probably going to feel a little bit better physically, which in turn is probably going to help you feel a little bit better mentally too. And that's why every day I drink one of these Magic Mind shots I'm sure you're seeing on screen at some point, because quite frankly, not only do they fulfill the micronutrient and mineral gaps that my diet is probably lacking, so it's a bloody dream and very convenient for me, they also help with things like mental clarity, which is something I certainly need, whilst also hammering me full of plenty of vitamin C and D, which is also something I need considering my immune system is shocking and I'm so pale I clearly never see the sun. And all of these things contribute to stress reduction, which again is something for the third time I really need, because although I might seem like I'm having a wild time, I'm actually quite stressed because I'm quite a stressed dude in general, because I stress about things that probably don't need to be stressed about, but maybe that'll change one day. Shout out therapy. And again, whenever I'm talking about a product or anything online, I'm always very wary, which is why you don't see them very often. But when I do, it's always something I can support because it's something I either would have bought myself or it's something I feel could benefit somebody at home watching. This covers both of those things. It's validated by doctors, which is bloody fantastic because this industry is full of some sneaky snakes. I don't like that, but the fact this is validated by doctors gives me the peace of mind that I don't need to be concerned. And it's also backed by over 200 studies, which is another dream, because there's one thing I like, it's apparently sitting talking to a camera, but if there's two things I like, the second thing is studies, because they show science, and I've got a background in science things, I've got degrees, 2 of them actually, funnily enough. And not only are they 100% carbon neutral, they also donate 5 cents per bottle to a mental health charity, which again, very much aligns with the message and motivations of this channel. And if you're not happy with any of those things, 100% refund policy for 100 days, which is a bloody dream if you ask me. So try it, you don't like it, they'll send you the money back. And if you click my link down below, I don't actually get any commission for you doing so, I'm just presenting this to you. You'll get 45% off the 24-hour focus and sleep pack, which again is only exclusive to my link. Again, I don't get commission from you clicking that link, but I'm just presenting that as an option that may appeal to you. And they're also doing a January mental wealth challenge, which is bloody fantastic because not only is it January, We like mental health and apparently mental wealth too, which is a term new to me. If any of that sounds like it might be tolerable, have a gander at the link down below. I would very much appreciate it. But again, never feel forced to, never feel any pressure.
I've been doing the carnivore diet for a bit longer now and wild things are starting to happen. For example, my snoring, something I've had my entire life, is now gone. I'm the lightest I've been since I can remember, and I'm noticing the fat on my body starting to really disappear.
And the big thing there, he said, oh, my snoring's gone. And everyone's like, wow, my God, carnivore has cured snoring. No, because he actually kind of gave the cure or the reason why his snoring is likely gone straight afterwards. He's lost weight and he's the leanest he's ever been. So throughout this carnivore diet, he has entered a calorie deficit, so he's lost weight. Typically, not all the time, but in a lot of cases, when you get heavier, be that through body fat or even muscle mass, snoring is going to be more likely to occur. And in getting leaner and lighter, he's then obviously not as heavy, therefore putting himself in a position where snoring is less likely to occur at night because, again, he doesn't have as much mass basically crushing him or putting him in an unfavorable position or disrupting his body in any capacity, which is going to contribute to snoring. When you are depriving yourself of pretty fundamental aspects of nutrition, which are very micronutrient dense, such as vegetables and the old greenery, it's going to have a bit of an impact. And in my opinion, I don't think it's the best approach personally.
One of those people that struggles with gross overconsumption, try grossly overconsuming protein. I got home, my appetite was through the roof, and I know I could have absolutely blown a hole in my caloric intake for the day. So I had 2 big ass bowls, it's empty now, 2 big ass bowls of barbecue pulled chicken from a barbecue restaurant, probably 75 grams of protein. Now I'm just eating a turkey and cheese roll up.
This is something many people do overlook when they're trying to lean up and maybe enter a deficit. Bump your protein up. If you're struggling with hunger, one of the best things you can do is increase your protein intake, because the reality is protein is very satiating. It's also the most metabolically demanding macro as well, but that's not really massively relevant. But when considering how satiating it is, it's a really good one to favor, because not only is it very good for maintaining and also building muscle in that deficit, like I said, it's going to keep you fuller for longer, which in turn means you're going to be more likely to stick within your calorie allowance and therefore going to be more consistent, which also in turn makes the approach more sustainable. So protein is your friend, not your enemy. Oh, this is drama about this, was it Sky Sutton individual? So loads of people have been piping up on TikTok about her because apparently she's come out and said she's had a BBL. And people are going wild about it, saying, oh, I can't believe she's had a BBL. I'm going to give you a really harsh reality check now. A lot of individuals in the industry, a lot of women in the industry have probably had BBLs, because when your body is essentially a fundamental selling point of you and your brand online, people will do what they can to enhance it to make it more appealing, thus hopefully get them more of a following, more money, whatever it may be. Maybe even make them look more credible from a coaching perspective, because it indicates that they feel like they have built the bum that you maybe dream of. There are other things to consider, which is a bit more typical across all genders, but I'd say probably more common in men: performance enhancing drugs. I'm very much your body, your choice. I respect it, but don't claim natural when you're not. So don't lie and say you did it without enhancements when you did. But instead, either be honest about it or just don't say anything at all. You don't have to tell anyone your personal business, that's on you, but don't mislead them. Again, if you don't want to be honest about it, I completely respect that. It's your choice. I can't understand why you wouldn't, because it's very taboo. Just don't speak about it at all and don't lie about things. Same with the BBL. If you've had a BBL, I feel like it's probably wise to tell people you've had a BBL. Again, no judgment here, your body, your choice, but don't mislead people and don't lie to people about it, saying I built this doing XYZ when you know that wasn't the case. Oh god, let's have a look at 4-day-a-week workout. Day 1, glutes. Let's have a gander. Too many sets already. 3s, 4s, no rep ranges, just 8s and 10s. Whilst we've got day 2, back and biceps. Bicep volume to back volume, I'm not going to favour that. Legs, extensions here. Silly movement there. Silly movement here as well. Too much volume. Abs and cardio. Okay, are we going to completely ignore the triceps, shoulders and chest here? That's something to consider. Quick rundown. This, too much volume. You do not need to do this much volume. This, silly movement. Don't do it. Good movement, good movement, good movement, good movement. I like all of those, minus that one. Just less volume, please. This, great movement, great movement. Yeah, I mean, it's okay if you want to do it. You can do a bent over row, fine. Great movement, fantastic. Too much volume still. Too much volume on that specific day, I should say. Great movement, silly movement. Meh. Average, good movement. Don't know what that is. Very fatiguing. I like the incline treadmill. How I would split this personally, if you're going to just kind of go for a balanced approach, upper, lower, upper, lower, upper, lower, done. Simple as that. The upper session, you're probably going to have maybe 1 shoulder movement, 1 chest movement, 2 back movements. If you want to, maybe a bicep and a tricep too. Do that on both days. On your lower movements, you're probably going to have a maximum of 5 movements, maybe a calf movement, a couple of hamstring / glutes, a couple of quad / glutes. How you want to favor it is up to you. It really depends on your weaknesses, but upper lower is probably a good way to approach a 4-day split. But again, it very much depends on your goals. Doing cardio, do it post-workout. Don't do it as like part of a whole new workout. Just do it post-workout. I actually really like this guy. His name is Higher Up Wellness. I really appreciate him and his just approach to things. He's a very smart dude and he's very kind of black and white to the point, which I quite like.
Actually doesn't hit a wall just because you age, and you being 44 has nothing to do with it. And unfortunately, the fact that you're gaining weight is your fault. You are consuming more calories than your body needs to maintain its current body weight. Therefore, you are gaining weight. It really is that simple. And the sooner you can stop playing mental gymnastics with yourself, and this doesn't just go for you, this is for everybody out there who plays this game of mental gymnastics. It's not my fault. I've tried everything. I'm so strict. No, you're not. You haven't tried everything. You're not that strict. It is your fault. And the sooner you can just accept that and take extreme ownership of your own life, actions, and habits, the sooner you can get out of this trap you're in and be happy with the body that you live in.
How you approach things and how you kind of verbalize your points to people is completely up to you. Some people don't like his approach. They say he's too maybe black and white, too harsh with it, too blunt. For me personally, and what resonates with me as an individual, I like when people speak to me like that. I quite like that approach, but I understand a lot of individuals don't. So again, how you approach things or how you kind of go about conversations is completely up to you. But the fundamental message there actually does make a lot of sense, is your metabolism doesn't just hit a wall once you're a certain age. And fundamentally, if you are gaining weight, it is because you're consuming more than you need to. And if you want to lose weight, calorie deficit. Eat less, move more, maybe even both. And again, it's not easy by any means, but it is very simple. And that's what I quite like about fitness, is it is quite simple. And a lot of it does come down to choice in a lot of cases. If you say you've tried everything, one of the big issues there is whatever you've tried clearly isn't sustainable and working for you, in which case you have to identify a new process or a new system to help you get to where you want to be, which is fundamentally, silly plug here, but might as well, why TFNL coaching is such a great thing. Because again, why ponder what the system should be or the process to get from A to B when I can do it for you and do it with you? So if you ever fancy it, link down below. You know the drill. TFNL coaching, TFNL group coaching, both of them are bloody fantastic. All of them linked in the description at different ends of the financial spectrum, but also with varying services depending on what you're looking for. That's not just for people who go to the gym. That's also for people who work out at home too. As a whole, I really like this guy. Again, people may not like his approach, and that's absolutely fine. People may like a softer approach. I fully respect that. I fully understand that. I think his fundamental message and his education, his information is very simple, very to the point, but also very valid, which I respect. These TikToks have actually been largely not awful. I'd say 50-50. Some of them maybe not so good, Eddie. Others maybe better. And I quite like doing these because I get to debunk and kind of go through a bunch of different things and kind of spitball loads of ideas and misinformation, and hopefully provide some good education and information to you that's hopefully can help you along this fitness endeavor. That is it. That is the video. Thank you for tolerating me. Thank you for tolerating my waffle about many other people online. And thank you for tolerating the video.